does not box smash my door.
Come on, Charles, don't do this.
Is that a bad word?
Hi. The X and the N.
You fucking look like rock stars, huh? And now we are a fucking bunch of wanker.
Michael, this is Toto. Can I just send you an email? No, Michael, that was so not right. Sorry, we went car racing.
Stop the intro.
Yeah, mate. Come on. Pressure's on, mate.
Okay.
Remember, Brad, we're going to put the music before you do the intro, okay?
Okay.
The music comes in first, and then you start speaking.
So when you start speaking, it'll just cut it. Not that you bastards ever do that to me, ever. You just leave it and go, yeah. Go on then, Brad. Pressure's on. You've got my role this week. Let's go.
Okay. Welcome to the 3 Pre podcast, sponsored by Rich Energy Drinks. Welcome your hosts, Ben Mills,
Hi.
Boyd Moore,
Hello.
and me, Bradley Keenan.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That was a good intro
Rachel
today, Brad, yeah.
Adedeji.
And I promise that Rich Energy Drinks have guaranteed me 500 quid. They said, and they said the check's in the post. Yeah, I'm definitely getting it.
Yeah, but
One
that's only
episode
if we
later.
that's only if we're successful. Then they'll sponsor.
Yeah, there'll
They'll
be
just
2
pull
more
out before the
episodes and
money
they'll pull
goes
out.
through.
Yeah, there was some weird small print in the contract that I didn't read, so maybe we're not getting anything.
I've been trying to buy a can of Rich Energy drink all week, and I can't buy it. The only way I can get it is if I get 24 cans, but I don't want to invest in 24 cans of what could be horrible.
Mate, get
That's
24
what he
cans
wants.
and drink all of it before we record the next
I'm going to do
episode.
next episode. We're going to do a endurance episode where I've got to drink all 24 cans throughout the whole episode, and I'm not allowed to go to the toilet.
Also, can I just point something out? Have I been stripped of my intro now? That's my little job.
His was
normally,
way
Brad's.
better than yours, though, Boyd.
Was it?
This is
Yeah, mine was all official.
Really good.
Next
Are
week,
you serious?
He'll be on
Fine.
X Factor next year.
I'm slowly
Ridiculous.
losing more. I'm getting sort of fizzled out more and more every week.
Yeah, it's going to be the 2 pre soon.
I'll just say hi and bye at the end. That's it. 2 pre.
all right, so as dad of the group, I have to keep things on track. So,
Teacher.
obviously, today we're going to be doing our regular features. We're going to cover the news. We've got a debate coming up. We've got a special guest. But before, and we've got the game as well. I put a lot of effort into the game this week.
Yeah.
But before we get started with everything, I have got an apology to make to both of you. So last week, it wasn't our best episode. We discussed it at the end, and I actually take full responsibility for it.
It's a
not being our
proper
best
F1
episode.
debrief, wasn't it, after that?
It was a bit. I thought we were all going to quit, to be honest, at the end of last week, because basically what we worked out was on a Monday is when I have a lot of human contact with people. I'm a bit extroverted, but deep down I'm an introvert. My social battery was very low. Came to the podcast, I wasn't in the right mood. So as soon as Ben kicked off the news, I just negged the shit out of it. I'm not going to do it this week.
Yeah, mate, you did deflate us. Me and Ben were trying to sort of like get
did.
some motion
How about
going.
this
and
bit?
it's
Is
just
this
like-
funny? Can we?
Then in our WhatsApp chat afterwards, it was like a little therapy session, and Ben was sort of like subtly saying this was 100% Brad's fault, and I knew it was. So full apologies to everyone. I take full
I
responsibility.
was trying to be as what's the word? I was trying.
Enthusiastic. You've been trying to be enthusiastic, really
I was
into
trying
it.
to
and
make it sound like
yeah.
we were all being neggy, but you know,
I felt like we let you
apology.
down a bit.
I
but-
accept your apology.
And what I think also happened is we did discuss this, and James isn't going to like hearing this, but obviously having a special guest, I think was like a special host was too early, and
Yeah.
because he was there, like he was in the group. We didn't just phone him in when his game
He was
started.
sitting there like
He was there
judging.
like an overlord, so I knew he was judging, and so I felt like we had a live
Bit
guest.
of pressure.
A lot of pressure. It's my brother as well, my older brother, and so I was just so it killed it. So
It
Too
blows,
many
isn't it?
Keenans, mate. Too many
So-
Keenans.
it's like when
We've
you go
said this.
when you go on holiday, if both of us are there, we just nick
Guys.
each other.
Yeah,
out.
2 Keenans is a bad cocktail. It's not good. You just want one
How
shot
much
of
better
Keenan.
is IB for when you swap a Keenan for a Mills? That's what.
Oh, 100% or more.
yeah.
The M's,
Well, no,
mate.
'cause you
I
went
just-
with both of them, didn't you?
I just
I've never
felt
been
I
with both
did,
of them.
yeah, mate. And we all just didn't speak, laid in our rooms and looked at our phones for
It was like
3
the beginning of last week's podcast. I assume.
People were texting me going, "How was your trip?" I went, "We just let us out on our phones and didn't talk to each other." It was like, but I felt bad last week because Ben, you was in that group after, and I was trying to like do the news and that, and you and Brad were just like shutting me down. I was like, yeah, "Sorry, mate."
Well,
Sorry.
you said, funny you should say that because I'm about to do the news now.
Okay, but the new rule is when you do a feature, if it's your feature, you do have to do the live jingle. Go.
Okay, the news now, news, up to date news. F1 news. No, there's no actual F1, so we've come up with some news.
No, we got
So-
some cracking news this week.
There's some cracking news.
Oh,
And
before we start, can I just give a quick shout out to two new listeners, guys? We've got another
Ooh,
2 followers.
Speaking of
2
news,
subscribers, my mate Will Cross and Larissa Harrison. She said she actually listened to it having a bath round at her mum's the other day. So
Hold on a minute.
you know,
This is
this is
the,
all over.
this is the woman who said I made her skin itch.
No, she said, "I'm so no." On the quick, she went, "I'm glad your mate did the correction section because I couldn't handle him saying Saints because she's a massive fan of Carlos Sainz, and she said it was making her a bit itchy." So
yeah, I like that term though.
So I think Brad, you
I
should
don't
just
like it.
Brad, a quick apology just to sort of tell her you're sorry.
No, I apologised to everyone last time.
He's
I
already
got
done
it
his
wrong.
correction. He can't correct again.
Signs his family.
Cancel him twice.
I'm not used to this. I'm used to if I make a mistake, just denying it ever happened. But it's actually
fine.
public. It's a public record now,
Well,
so I can't deny it.
It's nice to know though. She was having a bath, probably with a nice Joe Malone candle on, listening to 3 Pre. So we're getting some traction, boys. So cheers, Larissa.
Yeah,
Cool.
how to
What-
brew in a
what's-
bath. Especially didn't
your
take the toaster with her.
3
What's your
baths.
friend's name? What's her name?
Larissa.
Larissa. I was about to call her Lorena there. Fucked up twice.
Wrong. We have to correct. Larissa, sorry, another correction section from Brad. Lorraine and Saints.
Lorraine
Right.
and Saints.
Let's crack on with the news then, Ben. Sorry about that. Let's
Right,
move on.
so a lot of you, if you follow F1 on Instagram or YouTube or just in general, you all know that Porsche have been teasing their joining of the F1 ranks recently. And apparently they've recently trademarked, and I don't understand why, and I think it's pretty shit, F1 Nally.
See, I think I know why they've trademarked this. As soon as I saw it, I thought it was just someone like me, like a dickhead, trying to get a cool registration plate. You know, like as an Essex boy, you go, "What? How can I make it work?" So I thought they'd gone for F1 Nally, and it was going to be like whoever runs the Formula One, that's going to be their registration plate. I don't know. I mean, I've not been waiting for them to join the F1. They have their whole league. They've got their own league that happens like just before the F1. What did they?
Yeah. They've been in motorsport for as long as I can remember. Like I think they do Le Mans still, don't they? So they do like all the big
They do a
races.
lot.
Yeah, and so now Porsche and their other Volkswagen's other supreme brand, Audi or Audi, as my dad calls them, might be joining as well. So it'll be Audi Porsche. It'll be a combined thing. But I again, like we said, they're already a high performance motor car company, so them joining F1's not really that impressive. I thought that if Vespa or Lambretta were to join F1, it'd be a bit more exciting. See what they can do.
What, like mod F1?
Yeah,
It's like
there were loads of
mod
mirrors.
ones.
This is not very good for wind resistance, but it looks cool.
a load of well ends driving the cars.
F1 Quadrophenia. F-Phenia.
Yeah, I just can't see how Porsche joining is exciting in any way other than
Yeah, no, Vespa F1. The thing is, I always find that I've got, you know, when you have a love-hate relationship with something, like I have a love-hate relationship with people who drive, ride or drive, whatever you say, Vespas and Lambrettas. You know, when you see like a group of mods and they've got them all set up and they've got all the lights on them,
yeah.
I have this equal amount of pure, like, disdain,
I think that's
whilst
the way, yeah.
also being in complete admiration of them. And I'm like, I like, they look great, but you don't need that many mirrors.
No.
Like, how safe do you need to be?
Think of
Or
the
how many
fucking
different
windows.
angles do you need to see?
Think of the Windex they go through, a window cleaner on them fuckers every day. It's like an eye of a tarantula, isn't it? But with mirrors. Why do they have so many mirrors? It's fucking weird.
I know, but when I see them, I do think, oh, like maybe when I'm older, like I would like a Lambretta or a Vespa that was like mint
I can
condition.
imagine you on one actually.
I could, if I bought one off
You're
one of
too
those
tall
guys,
for one, I think.
I'd just get all the mirrors off. I'd be like, I need 2 mirrors, one on each side. I've never needed more than 2 mirrors. That's how many you need. Like you said, it's ridiculous. But I like the way they still stand around in corners and want people to come past and start conversations with us. It's
Brad,
great.
you are the sort to buy
I
one though,
actually
and just leave it in your
spoke to-
garage. I'm not
Mate,
even driving.
Yeah.
It would literally
It'd be the best
it'd be-
one you could buy, and
it'd
it
be
would
a-
be in the garage.
It'd be a Google search on Monday. It would be something would trigger. This is how I work. Something triggers me, and I go, "That's kind of cool." I Google search it on a Monday. By Friday, I've purchased one, and I've purchased one way beyond what I should have got it at.
Yeah.
I ride it a couple of days, and then it gets packed away and never to be seen again with
Yes.
all the other things.
That is kind of the Keenan sort of
Speaking of
trait,
that-
isn't it? Yeah.
Do you know what? I went camping. I went caravan in Cornwall, And then 5 days later, guess what I've brought?
10 box.
No, a Volkswagen Transporter. And converted it to a camper van and look it outside the office for no reason.
Fuck.
So we have to go camping now all the time.
We could do like a little.
I didn't follow the rules, Brad. I know that we've got the whole.
No, you've nailed that because next year Silverstone.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
it, mate.
we could do a podcast on like a live, like sort of Top Gear, like today we're coming to you from like the fucking
live podcast van.
The free pre van. It's the van. Free pre inside. Yeah, so
you got to change that haircut though. If you go out in a van with that haircut, mate, people are going to think you're fucking trying to capture them.
Oh no,
we ain't going out with Slim Shady, mate.
Yeah, exactly. They just think he's a rapper in a van.
No, they'll think it's a nonce in a
Free
van.
raps.
No, if my hair was, if I had long, extremely straight hair, but this color, then people and like almost like the skullet going on, the Terry Nutkins, then you think child molester. But
right, okay.
So obviously we are scraping the barrel for news because there's been no Formula One for nearly 4 weeks now. We got next week, then there's Formula One.
We're back this week though.
We're back. So what I've actually resorted to is just looking at what the drivers have been doing for like this week. So I mainly revolve around Otmar, the team principal for Alpine, because it looks like someone's captured him and taken him to a lakeside resort, and they're just making him pose for pictures to prove he's still alive.
So who's gone there?
Otmar, from their team principal from Alpine, used to be
Alpine.
Alpine. It's Alpine.
We don't know. We have this debate.
Section coming up.
Yeah. He looks like he's being held captive by a large American family.
I've got some stats. I've got a few stats for the Belgium Grand Prix this week. The first Grand Prix held there was.
When did we get a stats section?
This is a quick stat. All right, fine.
This is the news.
Go on. Let's have his quick stat as he's interrupted the Instagram thing.
It's got to be funny for him to interrupt you while you're doing the news.
I was doing a bit about Otmar being captured by an American family in Michigan.
It's just a little stat.
No, I want to hear it now.
Boyd, go. You got the floor. Go.
Right. So the first So Belgium Spa this week. So the first Grand Prix you held there was in 1950. It's 7,004 kilometers long, the track, 44 laps.
7,004 kilometers?
Yep. And
no, it can't be 7,004 kilometers.
Sorry, no, it's not.
This is better than my news.
It is
better than the news.
There you go.
It starts off in Edinburgh and finishes in Belgium.
The lap record. I've got one got upstat. The lap record was held by Valtteri Bottas in 2018. There you go. I'm out.
There it is, Bob.
Completely fucked it.
Cheers for doing the prep there, Boyd. Just back to the news.
Back to so apart from Otmar looking like he's being held captive, Nico Hulkenberg has dedicated Hulkenberg has dedicated his entire. Oh, boy, it's gone now. He's run off because we've embarrassed him. Nico Hulkenberg has dedicated his entire Instagram profile to pretending to not be the substitute driver for Aston Martin. So if you look at it, it looks like the whole time like he's actually their racing driver and not just the guy that gets to warm the seat every now and again.
I don't understand that.
So his Instagram is set up as, like he's the actual main driver for Aston Martin.
Oh, right, okay.
But
like
ignoring ignoring the fact that he's not really their driver.
He's always on that list as well. When you see it on the Sunday.
Yeah, because he did one race for Vettel because he had COVID, as we've been calling it now. I bet Vettel was like, I cannot be bothered to go to Bahrain. I'm gonna get a little phone in a little COVID and let Hulkenberg have a go.
COVID. Sorry, I don't want to do your activity. I think I might have 2 lines on a test.
You can just buy them now, can't you, with all the lines on already?
Thing to come from COVID, it's everyone's got an excuse not to do something they.
Yeah. I still use the excuse the kids have got the shits, and I've just used it for everything.
Won't go, prove it. Show me a photo
of them doing a shit. My youngest.
It'd be like Lewis can't drive today. He's got upset stomach.
Lewis is not going to make it to race. And speaking of Lewis Hamilton, actually. Lewis Hamilton's gone back to Africa to seek out his roots, which is, I think, quite commendable. It looks like he's having a really good time. He's done some really good activities while he's there. On the other hand, Nicholas Latifi went to Zante all-inclusive.
I saw him on a hot air
All-inclusive.
balloon the other day with his missus. Where was that? He's like
Latifi.
Latifi. Yeah,
It
he's
would have
like-
been Zanti.
Yeah.
You sent me, you guys, one of you sent me a picture of his girlfriend. It was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this is his girlfriend. And I
Yeah,
was
she's
like,
pretty hot. Is she
but
hot? I don't know.
he's a Formula One driver. You like send it to me like I should be surprised that
Yeah,
like
it's
look
true.
at
It's
his
Not
amazing.
all of their missuses are that fit though. Like, it's
No, that's
really
not
bang
really why.
average.
I wasn't.
boy. Let's not go down the route of like
let's not get
literally
cancelled.
shaming people.
All right.
Is that it for the holiday snaps? Any others that are of interest
I was gonna say that there is one at the top of the list.
that piqued your interest?
Well, there's something that peaked.
Any
It's been
points that you noticed that
I'm
you'd
gonna-
like to-
yeah, I think so. Everyone mentions George Russell likes to be shirtless.
Oh, God.
His nipples are really, really big, but not like big, but more like circular. Like
I love the
there.
fact you've looked at a picture of him and zoomed into his nip.
No, you
To
zoom
have a
in.
look.
They're big enough. You don't need to zoom in. It looks like he's got like two halves of a burger, like there. On him.
Couple of sundials.
Yeah, it's huge. Have you seen them?
No, I don't.
Don't need
I
to now.
I tend not to body shame people actually, Ben, and I'm a
All
little
right.
bit
Well,
upset.
I
you've
think
done
he
it.
needs to put a shirt on. His nipples are too fucking big.
Imagine he listens
It's
to this. He'd
not
be
okay.
well pissed off. Not these.
What's he gonna do?
Who? George Russell?
Yeah.
Well, he'd bang you out.
I don't think he will. I think he's like
He would.
he's about this big.
What's
he's-
funny though
he's 7
is
foot tall,
I know part of the
No, he just
podcast
looks
is now,
tall.
is now me talking about watching Drive to Survive again with my wife. But
Oh,
it was really funny because we were watching the earlier ones, and George Russell, when he's at Williams, he's like a kid. He's like it's like
He's
we've
so
watched
young.
him grow up. He's got like a little bowl cut. And he's like playing scale electrics. Like
Oh,
this. And
yeah.
Vicky goes, whose kid's that? I was like, he's the driver. And then the other guy, the guy who had that mental
Oh, yeah.
accident, who
Yeah.
come back, he looks well too old to be a driver. It's like
Yeah.
respect for him for coming back and that, but it's like he's as a caretaker, and he like what you got a caretaker and a caretaker's son. Which do you remember the guy at our school, Boyd? There's a kid at our school, right? I won't say his name because I would probably shame him. Basically, he was so shit at school, they gave him the job as a caretaker.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
He was at the school at the time, and they went, you know what? Fuck it.
I swear to God, this happened at our school, right? So he was in our class, right? And he was a bit of an oddball kid. And then, like, the next week, I was walking to class and I seen him, like, taking the bins. And I went, and I said his name. I won't say what his name is. I was like, oh, where you going? He goes, I'm just doing my job, right? And then he was our caretaker for the last, like, 2 years at school, like year 10 and 11?
No.
When you went to the careers advisor sitting down, they're just punching in loads of things on the computer. He's like, oh, you got to be the janitor, mate. Don't worry about it.
And we've got a job literally for you. So I don't know if he got paid or
Yeah.
we'll have to find out.
And when he used to come out the cupboard, he'd go supplies.
We've already done this joke.
Stove
I've just done this
joke.
joke before the big go.
Supplies.
Supplies. Nice. So
Right.
you're
I feel like-
comparing.
I
So
feel
you
like
guys are now comparing Robert Kubica to your mate at school who became the caretaker.
Yeah. That's
Right.
how what
Basically.
pace we can come,
Robert
mate. People say,
Kubica was probably one of the greatest racing drivers of all time, and he had a bad accident. I think you guys are mocking him for looking older than George Russell when he was actually older than George Russell, who was
hang
very
on,
young at the time.
let's break this down. Latifi's been hot ballooning. We've said George Russell's got big nipples apparently, and Lewis Hamilton's been out in where's he been? Africa.
I've got some more news which will come actually in the game about what people are doing in the summer.
Okay.
Or no, actually, it's later on when we do our debate.
Okay.
So hold that thought.
Summer loving, mate. Wait, did I just get it? No, I didn't. I might have got it. I've got it. I just got it. I just got your debate. Oh, I'm a genius.
Move on.
So speaking of guessing the future, last week we talked about people who would buy F1 cars and then try and drive them around the track. Well, this week, someone has probably listened to the podcast and go, I don't need to drive my F1 car on the track. I'm going to drive it down what looked to me like the M1, but I think it was probably somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, I looked at the registration plates. I figured it was in Germany. But
that's
yeah,
Autobahns.
I reckon he's listened to the podcast and he's heard us mocking him, go like, you wouldn't go out and drive that thing. And he has just hooned it down the Autobahn. He's absolutely tearing it up. But I just think
sick, though, doesn't it?
it does. It looks like he's having a great time. But when that car breaks, what do you do? Like, has he
just
got a team of...
wheel it into the bush, right?
Yeah, but anything that goes wrong in my house, like anything that goes wrong, the most simple things, like I'm having a a sink put in one of our kids. We're having sinks put in our kids' rooms, and a plumber came out. I hope he's listening to the podcast. And honestly, the conversation we had about how complicated it was like, mate, you are a plumber.
Yeah.
There is plumbing. This isn't that hard. And then this guy's got a fucking F1 car. If it breaks, there's no way he's gonna have to push it in a bush like Thingy did, Boyd. Beep.
What?
Yeah, 100%.
I thought my
It
first
probably is
thought
that
was-
car. I mean, he's redeemed it and he's just fucking swinging around in that.
It's
Isn't he?
Germany. My first thought it was Pistari running away from Alpine. Was my first thought when I saw it. Or is it Piastri? That's it. Yeah, no, it's funny somehow.
While we are on the news section, then sorry, it's sort of not
You're
news,
gonna
but can
interrupt
we?
again, are you?
Sorry, just that's
There's
why
more
I'm here, mate.
inaccurate facts
Have we
about
gained any more
cars.
followers or any more hits this week, Ben? What's the stats?
It's leveled out the same as last week, so we haven't got anyone new.
It's
or
built
anyone
in.
else. But
It's built
like,
in.
we should probably do a promotion drive this week on actually sharing it on our own.
We need what we'll do, Ben. When we have our executive meeting, we'll have a content strategy meeting. We need to do some snippets. Anyway, moving on to the news.
So I was
to
saying
news.
that I've actually been
Thanks for-
looking. I've
thanks
been
for-
looking.
Doing that again, Boyd.
Yeah.
Next week when we do the news, let Ben run the news.
Oh,
and
no,
don't keep
you know what?
interrupting him.
Actually, no. Next week, Boy can do the fucking news. I'll write down the news stories
I
he's
ain't
going to
doing
do,
the
and he
news,
can just
mate.
talk about them.
You're lucky I'm even on it.
The whole goal of this is he doesn't have to do any prep. The news will be Boyd making stories up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've actually been
Which
looking at
He's
track.
gonna do it.
I've been
I
looking
bet you
at.
made a few stories up last night, didn't you, Boyd?
What's
Yeah.
that? Oh,
I
fuck.
bet you made a few stories up last night.
Yeah, how many people did you tell about the podcast last night while you were at Elrow?
Yeah, loads. I was at rave telling people about free pre.
I'm gonna post the meme actually about that I made for Boyd today on his free
Yeah,
preview.
brilliant.
Yeah, go
Because
on.
every day, Boyd goes, send us the link to the podcast so I can show my mate.
I had to do it
It's
to my
on
mate
the
the other day.
internet. You just
Yeah.
have to look it up on
There's
the
loads of
internet.
different versions. I'm like, it's confusing, mate. Do you know what I mean? So,
I was actually looking at track day experiences, and you'd pay 400 quid to do 3 laps in a pretty shit car. So he's probably making better value for money by just driving an F1 car in the M1. He'll put the fines he's going to get are better value. And then finally, this bit of news is going to bore the shit out of you, but I found it quite interesting. Is that the FIA, World Motorsport Council, has approved power unit regulations set to come into effect in 2026. This will increase electrical power and use 100% sustainable fuels, 2 of the key aspects of the newly approved rules. So they're going to change the MGUK.
Mate, you need to learn how to read if you're going to do the news.
No, I'm
you got started there, mate.
I'm remembering. I'm trying to remember the parts of the engine.
He got nervous because as he was saying, he's going, this is actually really boring, isn't it?
It is really boring, but I'm going to ask you. Right, so the
That was
MGUK currently in the cars is about this big, right? It's about this big, and that is used to convert braking energy into battery power. But the new MGUK is going to be 4 times the size of this, so they're going to have more electrical power. So they're actually going to have 4 times more power, but they're going to be able to collect back 10 times more power.
I feel like I'm going back into last week's episode.
Well,
Ben.
I'm trying to talk to you about how, and so they're going to be more
I'm-
sustainable. You like sustainability? You're into the recycling.
Yeah, I know,
stuff.
but I'm into recycling, so I'm going to be into this.
Yeah, you love recycling.
I preferred Russell's burger nipples and that, to be fair, than the MG power unit.
But we do have to move on purely because of time, but also I do have a
because of
special
time.
guest.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
No, but I've got a special guest, and he's on. He's got a time limit of when he could do the thing, so I need to patch him in a minute.
All right.
But anyway, so I didn't tell you who the guest was.
is he going to be?
because-
He doesn't work at a
No,
manufacturer
doesn't.
or
He-
fitter
he-
of
no,
tires.
No. So this was actually a bit serendipitous, actually, because obviously there was train strikes in the UK this week, and my train goes through Stevenage, which we know is Lewis Hamilton's old stomping ground. So we're on the train comes to a sudden stop, or like when nobody's spoken to each other.
Which you don't do on trains anyway.
You don't speak to each other, but then when something happens, someone goes, "Oh," and then it starts a conversation. Anyway, so I get talking to.
So all huffed up, and
Why
then
has it stopped?
It's like people huffing, and then I'm thinking, look, just because the train's fucked up doesn't mean I want to have a conversation with you, but you clearly want to have a conversation with me. Anyway, so this guy starts talking to me, and at Stevenage, and I said, "What do you do for a living?" He says, "I'm a PE teacher." I said, "What, in Stevenage?" He said, "Yes." So then we get chatting. It turns out he was Lewis Hamilton's PE teacher.
no way. No, he's
fuck
not.
off.
How?
Really?
So I'm talking to him, and I start telling him about free pre. This is really interesting, and I said it would be amazing if you could join the podcast.
What,
And
full time? I bet he thought you meant full time.
Just this week. He's on the
okay.
line. I'm going to patch him in a second.
All right.
Yeah, so we'll get to really get under the hood.
But he's on that because I've got to go.
Are you not able to do
I
this
need to
bit,
go
Ben?
to just get
Ben,
some,
you
I'm just
always
gonna
do
go
this
to
when we
bit.
have a guest on.
No, I'll be back in a minute. You guys talk to him. I don't really care about PE teachers anyway. I hate PE teachers.
Katie's calling him.
Yeah, I've got to go.
Kate.
All right, I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. All right, fine.
See you later.
Yeah. So anyway, Boyd. So I've got this guy. He's on the line. It's be nice to him because he did get a bit of people said I was punching down on the quick fit guy. The guy, Kevin.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully,
So
one of his rowdies.
let me just see if he's there. Are you there?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Brothers, how you want to do, mate?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very good. Thanks for joining the podcast. Really appreciate it.
You know what? Thank you for having me on because podcasts like they are. I love them. I listen to them all the time. I listen to 3 or 4 podcasts a week. How many?
Brilliant.
Well,
it's
now I've
obviously
got another one, so it's 5.
When you're on the train going to and from London, Stevenage, obviously.
Although we're going to Stevenage. I just live outside Stevenage.
Brilliant. So I tell you what would be good before we jump into talking specifically about Lewis Hamilton. It'd be great to understand how did you get to become a PE teacher? And what's the story?
When I finished my career as a rugby player at Stevenage Town, I didn't really want to move out of Stevenage because the house prices are pretty good. So I got a school at the John Emery. So pretty good.
So you were a professional rugby player, so sportsman at heart.
I played rugby.
What position?
Hooker.
Brilliant. I don't know anything about rugby, so I don't know whether that's good or not. But I'm
good at it. Stevenage Town are an amateur team, so we play every play a lot.
So there must be a lot of pride at the school, having such an amazing teacher. Such an amazing student in Lewis Hamilton.
All the students at John Henry are just phenomenal. They're just such great kids. Like everyone there, all the teachers, the children, they're all just brilliant. They're brilliant.
And but is there a lot of pride specifically around Boyd? If we've got a special guest on the phone, you should cut your phone off so it doesn't make noises.
It doesn't matter, Boydy boy.
Sorry about that, mate. Sorry.
Well, you know what?
A pride around Lewis. Has he ever come back to the school?
I've never seen him at the school, come back to the school, but there's a lot of pride around all our ex-students. We had Ashley Young, the Aston Villa player. He was one of our students too. He played.
Brilliant.
He was a brilliant footballer, wasn't he? But Lewis was also a brilliant footballer, apparently.
What's he like in class then? Is he very competitive? What's he like? Does he put 110%?
I think all the students at John Henry Newman School are very competitive. They've all got a fighting spirit. They all want to achieve the best, no matter what they're doing. That's just part of the culture at John Henry.
And what year were you a rugby player? What was your what was the kind of peak of your career?
2008.
When?
2008 to 2011, I played for Stevenage Town.
And then you became a teacher. Then you became a PE teacher after that.
Yes. After my career ended at Stevenage.
Oh right. So you didn't actually teach Lewis Hamilton then.
Yeah.
You weren't actually a teacher when he was there.
What? Well,
So
I've met the teachers.
Well, he's the same age as me. He's a couple of years younger than me. So he left school in like 2001. He would have left school, and you didn't join the school until 7 years after that.
Yeah, but I've met the teachers that were his. I
think I might have made a.
No,
I mean, it's great.
No, you need to. I've met the teachers that have taught him, and they have touched me, and I know the stories of Lewis. You can ask me anything about him, and I'll be able to tell you about Lewis and what it was like to teach him.
Does he throw any strops in the class if it doesn't go his way? Is he kind of a bad loser kind of vibe?
Lewis was. I mean,
complain when things don't go his way.
Yeah,
you've seen Drive to Survive.
Like coming last across country or something like that. As you get the ump, I could imagine he always wants to win, doesn't he? Because that's his mentality.
Get the hump during cross country, trying to use DRS, like standing directly behind someone.
From P18 up to 1 around the school fucking pavilion.
Well, I think. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure there's much more we can do with this interview. I mean, it's been great having you on.
Ask me anything. You can ask me anything.
From our conversation on the train, you said you were Lewis Hamilton's teacher, not that you are a teacher.
I never said that.
I feel like
Have you lied? I feel like you've lied.
I feel like you got carried away. We were stuck on a train
say
together.
that
You were
I
trying-
taught Lewis.
Yeah,
I think John Henry is more of a, the school is, he always stays with you. So it feels like I have taught Lewis, if you know what I mean.
I feel like the
Okay,
train was broken down for too long, and you've lied. If I'm honest,
He got carried away,
not
didn't
gonna
he?
lie. Yeah, Brad got
very
excited.
sorry,
We've
guys.
got
I'm very
excited.
sorry.
We've got you on the show, and you kind of let us down a little bit, but
I'm
it's
very
all right.
sorry,
Not a
guys.
problem. But
I'm
thanks.
just,
We
glad,
appreciate
I'm
you
just
coming on.
glad Ben weren't here to hear this because I wouldn't have heard the end of it. Anyway, I think I can see Ben coming back now.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been good having you on the show, and
Thank you.
hopefully I will see you on the train again someday.
Or
Yeah,
not.
thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
What? Wait, is he gone?
Yeah.
Ah,
It
was he
wasn't-
good?
it-
What did he tell you about Lewis at
awkward.
school?
It's just a bit awkward.
He
mate.
was on. Well, you listen back to the podcast later on. He was on par with Kevin. I think our guest can only
Aggressive.
get better.
How
from here.
aggressive was he?
Not as aggressive as Kevin, but he was definitely as good of a guest as Kevin was. So,
What the fuck?
if anyone listens to this podcast,
What did you do?
has anyone who has any real connection to F1 and wants to join the podcast as a guest, please do let us know,
Okay.
and we will.
So this
happily bring them on.
is 2 strikes against your guest getting things. Or,
Yeah. Next week I've got a couple of irons in the fire.
irons
If
in the
that's
fire,
the phrase.
okay. We get some West Ham
Yeah.
fans on, are we?
I don't know.
I feel like he lied a little bit. He was like, "You give it the big," and we've got him on here, patched him in, and he just crumbled.
It
So
is.
we've had an aggressive tyre fitter and a
Yeah.
lying school teacher.
Yeah, and then also I was listening back to the podcast last week because we said it was such a disaster. I wanted to listen to it back. Now we know the only reason why we're doing this podcast is so we can one day get Gunther Steiner as a guest. We basically spent last week. Boyd called him a rat, right?
I don't remember saying anything
I
bad about
call him an
him.
evil person, you know.
You said he was an evil rat. So I don't think that's the.
Okay,
That's
so
not gonna get him
we
on.
won't show Gunther episode 3 then.
No, I don't think he's a listener. So I think it'll be
Yeah, I think we'll be all right there.
We're talking to Drive to Survive. I've just started season 4 again with old Mazpin and that. And Gunther's like, he's quite aggressive, but he's trying his best.
Yeah, he's trying his best.
And I just remembered, right? So I know we do the Steinership and that's our thing. I never actually paid attention to that scene other than like I thought it was funny that he was getting pictures with boats and like other things. That's for the Audi catalogue. That he was in the Audi catalogue
Who
that
is it?
year.
Is it Schumacher? He sits on the little
Schumacher,
swing and he
and
goes,
then
I
they've
can't even
seen
touch
the-
the floor.
Yeah.
His little legs don't like reach the
Schumacher
floor.
in the Audi catalogue. You know, Mazpin's like going, I am paid so much to be in this team. I don't have to be in this stupid
Yeah, I
fucking
ain't getting
Audi.
your little boats.
What do you mean? How was Audi?
Audi, as in it's a supermarket
Oh,
where it's not
okay,
Waitrose, basically.
All right.
Brad only shops at Waitrose, everyone.
Yeah.
What?
Audi.
Food's available, not at
Lidl.
Waitrose.
Yeah.
You must be speaking about.
Oh,
Marks and
you mean
Spencer's.
Okodo, the delivery by a Waitrose? No.
I thought you were talking about Audi, the car manufacturer. You know, like when they sell crap, you go in like a car garage and you're like, you're buying this BMW M6. Would you like a Rain Mac with BMW M6 in it? Absolutely not. And they sell shit. I thought it was like a boat, yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
So we have got the game. Is it the game or the debate next?
Actually, quickly before we move on, we've got a rumor that talking of Haas, that Mick Schumacher could be joining Alpine.
Oh,
Little
really?
rumor.
Interesting.
Oh, don't do that. I don't want to lose him from the. From
Sorry,
the
mate.
boys.
Haas
The results won't change, don't worry.
Yeah,
Still be
Haas
fine.
will still be in the bottom
Yeah, don't
bottom
worry,
5. Don't worry.
You've got to try and work with me here. So, Brad, we normally do the debate last, I think. It's
Yeah, it's the
game
game
then
next.
debate.
Okay, just bear with me for a moment because I've done quite a bit of prep on this game.
It's a big game. He's got a spreadsheet.
Wow, this is big.
Do you want-
So before we start the game, there's a couple of bits I want to address from last week. So obviously the first couple of episodes of the podcast, I did a game, and the game it had a formula. Let's be honest,
Yeah,
it was a
it's the same
quotes-based game.
Yeah.
And then my brother said to me he wanted to create his own game for the podcast, which he was going to keep secret, and it was going to revolutionize the game. He essentially copied my game.
No, it was exactly the same game.
Then acted it in front of me like he invented it. It was just the same format, but with a different thing.
Yeah, the
But
name
what
was
I did
good.
learn, their name was good. But what I don't think James realised was that when we did Jenna or Senna, that Caitlyn Jenner actually has a racing team.
Yeah, the W series.
Caitlyn Racing or Jenna Racing.
Generation.
And
I
it's,
prefer Caitlin. It's Caitlin Jenner Racing.
Yeah.
Her face
Jet
at the front.
Racing, which is a female race team, which I think is amazing. So I don't think James knew that. So what I did was I decided to completely revolutionise the game for this week.
You've changed the game.
And it's a totally new
format.
Now, let me walk you through the rules.
Is it
Now,
do we need pen and pad or anything?
have either of you ever seen The Price is Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and the one with the cards where you go higher or lower.
That is The Price is Right.
Okay, this is the same as that, right? But basically, what we're going to do is you both get two lives each.
Yeah.
And I've got all the race car drivers with their shoe size.
Okay.
And as we go through, you have to say higher or lower based on the shoe size.
I like that. I like this game.
You get 2 lives each. Okay. And we're going to try and get as high up the grid as we can.
Okay. So we're starting P20, yeah?
Hold on. No, it's not in order because you can't do it in order because so many race car drivers have the same size shoe, which made this game hard to do. So we're going to do 15. You get 2 lives. We have to go through each one and you get 2 lives. Now, the game is called Climb the Grid with the least amount of skids. The lives are...
You're such a cunt, mate. You absolute... You stole my game. Anyone listening out there, I came up with this quality game and Brad's just
the name. You didn't come up with this game. You came up with the name.
Whatever. The name is the best bit. Brad always
That's why we do pre-production meetings. That's what we talked before.
Yeah. No, I'm going to give you this. You came up with a great name, right? But you didn't have a game for it.
No, but my game still was good.
Your game was. Have you seen Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It's that.
Your game, you would have had to. Your game, we would have had to have a whole podcast just for your game.
No, because we would have done 2 questions each.
Game. I took your game and I made it in your name and I turned it into an amazing game.
What have you called it? You called it pretty much the same thing.
Climb the Grid with
the name.
It is the name.
No, mine was climb the grid with limited skids. It was pretty much similar. You've nicked it.
Well, least amount and limited are the same thing.
Can you just tell viewers then that I did come up with that quality name?
I did say that, but you came up with a name and then I made a game for the name. Okay,
right,
so
at least I had some input then.
That was so worth it, Brad.
Just so you know, for our American listeners, this is in UK shoe size. It took me a lot of research to get everyone's shoe size. Some people hide their shoe size, which you're going to find out why when I found out what they were.
Wow.
So I do trust the people of the Reddit company.
And you know what you say about men with small feet?
Yeah.
Small socks.
Small socks and small shoes.
Small cups.
But also I did learn in the process of doing this, Yuki Tsunoda did actually have special steps made in his car for his feet. You know, you joked about it.
Yeah, really.
That's real.
Well, like short rounding, like Indiana Jones. He has 2 blocks of 4x2 on his feet, doesn't he?
I think it was more sophisticated than that, but they did actually adapt the F1 cars for his.
But everyone's molded into their F1 cars, though, right? They all get molded.
Okay, so we're going to start off easy. We're going to start off with, and you guys do this together, okay? So you don't have to compete against each other. It's just how far up the grid you can get. Okay,
so there's no. this doesn't add to my 3-0. My current 3-0
because someone's going to get higher on the grid, and then we have a bonus question. But what I'm saying is, you can both answer the same to continue to climb the grid. Does that make sense?
Okay, right, 2 lives each as well. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Okay, so we're going to start off with Yuki Tsunoda, and now we're going with Nicholas Latifi. Is he higher or lower in shoe size?
What size is Tsunoda then? So we can go.
Tsunoda is a size 9.
Really? Fucking hell!
It's about the size of his fucking leg, isn't it?
Size 8.
This is a research project done primarily on Wikipedia and Reddit. So between those two, I'm pretty sure some of these are going to be wrong, but let's just play the game.
Okay.
Ben, do you want the honours or do you want me to go?
I think Latifi is higher than Tsunoda.
Yeah, I'm going to go higher because he's quite tall and gangly. I reckon he's got long feet.
He is a size 11. Congratulations. You've made it to next level of the grid.
Get in.
Lance Stroll of Aston Martin. Is he higher or lower than Nicholas Latifi, size 11?
I think he is lower than Tsunoda, but he lies about his shoe size because he's worried that they're quite small. But I say he is lower than Latifi.
I'm going to go lower as well.
Congratulations. You're both higher on the grid.
What size were they?
They were size 9s.
Yeah, so he's the same size as Yuki. I reckon he's an 8, really. I reckon he's an 8, really. He just says 9.
Zhou Guanyu.
I reckon he's got fucking massive feet.
Than Lance Stroll.
Higher.
What was Stroll, 9?
Yeah.
Higher. All the same. Higher or the
Well,
same?
hang on, yeah, Brad, is there like a... Can we...
Never the same.
Oh, never the same.
That's
Never
right.
the same.
That's why I couldn't do the the order in the current
Okay,
championships because basically, in order to be at the top of the championship, you need a certain size foot, which I'm not going to say what it is.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Really?
So, Ben,
It's
what
really weird, yeah. Like I saw this thing. There's the whole thing about causation and correlation, right? So there's this chart, and it shows deaths in swimming pools and years Nicolas Cage made films, and there's a correlation between if he makes a film, more people die in swimming pools. So I don't know if it's true, but certainly seems that.
So I would
successful
say
in
then
F1,
that
you
Max
need-
Verstappen's like got the perfect body size, and so is Lewis Hamilton. I would say that Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen probably
All
are
right, let's just
exactly the
stick-
same
we,
body
we
size.
need to get back on the
Stick
game.
to the
here.
game.
We're
Anyway, yeah,
drifting.
yeah. So, no, that's interesting. This is
Joe,
interesting.
Is he lower in shoe size or
Higher. I
higher
think
than
he's
Lance
higher.
Stroll's size 9s?
I'm going to
He's
go
higher.
lower. I think he's a size 8.
Okay, so I'm afraid to say, Ben, you have just skidded.
Woohoo! Skid out, bitch.
Okay,
Let's
so
get
I'm
it
still
out.
in, but I've skidded.
He has a size 8 UK.
Yes, I got that bang on.
Now
Wow.
we're up to Fernando Alonso. Is he higher or lower than Joe Guan Yu's size 8?
Higher.
Lower.
9.
Lower, he's a 7. He's a
not.
7.
He's not.
Lower.
He's a 9.
What are you saying, Boyd?
9. Higher.
Ben, you've skidded again.
Oh, no!
Skid.
Skids. You only get 2 skids. You get one more skid, you're out, and it's down to Boyd to keep climbing the ladder.
Ben's favourite band, Skid Row.
Okay. Now here's
love Skid
here's the shocker. This is the big shocker of the game. Sebastian Vettel, has he got larger? Is he higher in shoe size or lower in shoe size than Fernando Alonso?
Lower.
See, I'm going to go higher because I feel like he's got really long feet or something. I'm going
Little German paddles.
I reckon he's a size 10.
I reckon he's a ski boot.
Okay, Boyd, you have just skidded
Fuck!
because he has size 7.5 feet.
Fucking hell.
He's quite little though, is Vettel.
7.5.
quite
That's so
Sebastian
small
Little.
for a fucking man. Sorry to all the people listening to podcasts have 7.5.
Yeah.
7.5. It's like my kids have 7.5 size shoes,
That
Like-
is small.
and they're teenage girls.
So
Anyway.
1 skid for me, 2 for Ben.
One skip for you. Charles Leclerc. Is he higher or lower than Sebastian Vettel?
Got to be
Higher.
higher, isn't he? 7.5's tiny.
Size 9s.
You beauty.
Perez, is he
Oh,
lower or higher?
I think he's higher.
I think he's low.
Actually, no, sorry, I've fucked the game up. Sorry. Lewis
Brad
Hamilton,
skidded.
All right.
is he higher or lower than Leclerc?
Lower.
Leclerc's a 9.
Boyd?
I reckon Lewis is a 10. Higher.
Boyd, you've skidded. That's both 2 skids
Oh,
each.
both
fuck.
So this next
he-
one's this is the decider now.
He's an 8.5.
Oh, God.
Perez, you have higher or lower
Higher.
size feet?
Ooh,
Big old Mexican.
Ah, see.
What's that?
I think Mexican have big feet.
Oh, I'm going to go.
Alright, okay, good-
what
good
was Lewis? 8.5.
stereotyping.
I reckon he's an 8.
If you get this wrong, you're out, and the other person continues up the.
What if we both skid though? What if we
agreed.
both skid?
We're both out. Then we're
Oh no,
both
sorry,
out,
because I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go lower. I think Checo's an 8.
And you're saying
higher.
he's a size 9.
Yes!
Boy,
4-0.
there is
4-0.
These are us.
there's bonus points later on, so you could come back
Okay,
in.
As always.
Okay, let's see how high we can get up then, Ben.
Right.
So we are at Perez, Carlos Sainz.
Lower.
I'm afraid you are out. He is a size 10.
Wow.
So you got up there. Now, I'm going to go through and tell you the rest of the high and low before we get to the bonus points. We have Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo is lower than Sainz.
Really?
Sainz.
Science. Yeah.
Sainz
Ricky.
with size 9s.
Yeah.
George Russell has the joint biggest feet in the F1 at size 11.
Wow.
We have Gasly, who is a size 9. Max Verstappen has a 7, so he has the
Wow.
smallest feet in the F1.
Yeah.
And then Lando Norris has a 9.
Really?
Okay.
Wow.
Now, the bonus points, which are basically to win the game.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what just happened. If you get this right, you win. The first person
this is the
to
real
tell
quiz.
me it doesn't matter. The first person to tell me the 5 drivers I didn't include in that game wins.
Mick Schumacher,
Mick Schumacher,
Alex Albon.
Hold on.
Alex Albon.
Wait, you've just gone behind me.
Hulkenberg.
No, Hulkenberg surely doesn't count.
He's in the standings. He's in
the question. Boy, just concentrate on your answer.
So Hulkenberg, Schumacher, Albon. He's done Latifi. He's not done.
Ben, you're out for saying a driver that isn't actually in.
He is in F1. He's in the standings. He's 21st in the standings.
Wait, Schumacher, Albon.
I included the 20. Sorry.
Okay, well that's 2 then. Okay.
Schumacher,
Albon.
Yep.
He said Stroll. Magnussen.
Yep.
2 more.
2 more to go.
2 more to go.
Shit, who is it? Trying to think of them shit midfielders in the middle.
Hard, isn't it? Trying to think of the
midfield.
Ocon. Ocon and last one.
Boyd, go.
I'm trying to think who the last one is.
What's his name?
Oh God, who's in the middle?
He's Alonso Ocon. It just comes down to this one name, doesn't it? Oh God.
Oh, Valtteri Bottas.
Oh,
yes! Come on! Woo! Fucking hit! Mate, that was fucking hard. He's back. 2-1. Come on.
3-1, mate.
Was it 3-1?
Limited
right,
skids.
fine, mate. Limited skids. It was written in the stars that I won that today because you stole my name game.
It was your name. All right, so on to the final section of today's podcast where we do a debate and we talk about an idea. So sometimes it's not really a debate, is it? We wanted to change the name of this, but basically what we do is we all come up with an idea during the week. And this week's challenge was to come up with a film because we spoke about how Lewis Hamilton was supposed to be in the Top Gun film. And we were saying, if an F1 driver was to retire and go into Hollywood and you were a director, what film would you create and who would you cast? So I'm going to do mine first because Ben sort of spoiled it earlier.
I've not spoiled it because I don't think anyone else heard it. I just got it. I know what it is.
So originally, my original idea was Space Odyssey 2001, which I don't think Boyd would have seen. But just because of HAL 9000, I just thought it'd be funny to have Haas 9000, have Gunther Steiner as the AI on the spaceship. But I realised it was even though it's probably, some people would consider it the best film ever made, I reckon Boyd probably hasn't seen it. So it wouldn't be funny. So I moved on from that. You have seen it, Boyd?
No. I've heard of it.
Can you watch it between? Can you watch
what
it
are you
between
doing, Dave? Hey, Dave? I really think I'm entitled to an answer to that question.
Boyd, if you could watch it between now and next week, and on next week's show, tell everyone what it's about, that would be
mate,
incredible.
I'm not going to watch Space Odyssey.
My idea was to recreate Greece. Wow. And the reason why I would recreate Greece is not just, I didn't just pick a random film, right? There was a lot of press this year about Greece basically being on TV and it being a little bit homophobic. Well, no, not even a little bit. Very homophobic, very racist, and actually quite rapey. So Greece hasn't aged very well. So I got to think about Greece. And I thought, who could play Danny Zuko? And then as I was looking at what was going on this summer, I learned that Daniel Ricciardo has a new relationship with Heidi Berger, is that how you say it? Who's the daughter of Gerard Berger. So both him and his future father-in-law both never won a championship, so they can both talk about that, for the rest of the time. But also his name's Danny. So on set, because this will be his first film he's done, right? And some people are going to be going, what's Danny doing, right? And if they're talking about the character name, he's probably not used to that, so you get confused. So if this is his first film, he doesn't even need to pretend to respond to the name Danny, because that is his name.
True, yeah.
So I thought that was the perfect combo. And he's had Summer Love in, and he knows how to drive. And let's be honest, Grease Lightning is not exactly going to be like the fastest car, although it's supposed to be in the film. And then he can just drive that.
And when they have that race down in the thing, when he races Kaniki, he'd be fucking mullering him on the bends, wouldn't he?
He would do, and he'll late break and he'll overtake him,
He'd be complaining, he'd go, I just still don't feel at one with this car. And they're like, mate, it's just Grease Lightning, just go in a straight line. No, I need a winning car. If I'm going to win races, I need a winning car.
He needs to start singing Grease Lightning in the pit lane.
I think you guys are ragging on Ricciardo too much, man. I think you guys are ragging on him. I think he's going to win something. So.
He's not, mate.
So there's my pitch. Grease Lightning featuring Daniel Ricciardo as Danny Zuko.
Okay, I like it. What would there be any supporting cast from the rest of the F1 team?
No, I didn't really think about it that far. I didn't think everyone would retire in the same thing. I know you've probably done a whole film, so you can just totally piss all over my idea and tell me you're amazing one. I'll back down. Go.
Mine's just silly.
Go.
All right. I've gone with Goonies, but I'm going to recall it Zoomies. And I've got Lando Norris.
Is this a film primarily set on Zoom?
no, it's just Goonies, but because they're going fast, it's called Zoomies.
Right. Okay.
Sounds like a drug.
Yeah, I've got Lando Norris as the main character of Mikey, and then I've got Sebastian Vettel playing his older brother, who wears the sweatpants throughout the whole film. And then I've got
Gunther Steiner going to be Sloth.
Wait. No, I've got Danny Rick as Mouth, so he'll be replacing Corey Feldman. I've got Stroll as Chunk because I fucking hate Chunk as a character and I fucking hate Stroll. All right, and I got Lewis Hamilton as the jock who holds on to the brother and drives him down the street because I think Lewis Hamilton's a bit of a jock. And then I've got obviously Tsunoda as Data. But I've also got Fernando Alonso as Rosalita the cleaner.
So a film full of racial stereotypes.
Not really.
Congratulations.
Right, and then I've got Zach Brown as Mama Fratelli. As the old woman, like the bad guy. I've got Gunter and Toto as the Fratelli brothers.
Mate, you obviously like Goonies.
Yeah, I love Goonies. And then I've got Otmar as Sloth.
I was trying to think about like remaking RoboCop. I couldn't imagine anyone in the F1 that could be RoboCop.
Toto would be RoboCop.
No, yeah, he
It'd
would.
be Terminator as well. It'd be everything.
Yeah, I thought that was an obvious one. I guess that's what Boyd's going to do because it's too easy. But so my one was Batman, right? My one was Batman and RoboCop, which both require a strong jaw.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about Ricciardo as Batman, but I just thought it would be.
He's too whiny, man.
His nose, it wouldn't have worked under the bat suit, would it? You need quite a low profile, like sharp nose and the jaw. So yeah, that's good. I like that one.
Yeah,
Boyd, what have you got to go?
Mine's a bit. I think I've got this a bit wrong. This game, I've just basically. You knew I would.
Yeah.
So I chose Pierre Gasly, and the film title would be called All or Nothing.
You've actually just made up a film for Pierre Gasly. This is much better.
So Pierre Gasly, he's actual like a film character name, which would be Tyler. Film title would be All or Nothing. I've gone a bit deep here. So this film's based on.
We didn't say much.
You've
done it. Yeah. What? Wait, have you got the screenplay? Have you written the screenplay this week?
What screenplay?
You did it in Elro last night.
No. So like, that's what I'm saying. I've done just a bit of a breakdown of what the film would be about and all that. So it's basically
this is brilliant. I
so
can't
it's
wait.
Gasly as Tyler. Film title All or Nothing. Film type. It's a mix between Good Will Hunting and John Wick. Right. Put them together. So right. No, I'm not even started yet.
What does the combination
Well,
of
I'm
those
going to
two
tell you
films
about
look
it.
like?
So
It's a combination of Mrs. Doubtfire and
Terminator.
Armageddon.
no, so basically, Gasly's a smart guy, right? He's going places at school, college. He's a really cool guy. Lives in a little house in America, a little neighborhood. You know those little porch fly, like flickery doors. Lives with his little brother Dylan, his mum Beth. No dad, walked out when he was a kid in carts. Keep it at carts. So he hangs about with a guy called Frank, right? That's a bit riffraff, right? He gets a lot of trouble, right? So one day they're walking. One day they're walking home from school, right? Best friend gets shot, drive by, right? Some geezer called Hector. Right? So obviously Gasly does a bit of digging, right? Obviously, he's all of the sort of school shit falls out the window. He starts smoking pot. So then he starts to basically get involved with his drug gang. Then he decides to fight. So long story short.
So can you just rewind a bit? So
where did we get up to?
His dad walked out on him. And then he got hooked.
No. So then Frank,
Then what
his mate, got
happened?
shot because he was doing some dodgy stuff, right? He was getting involved with some dodgy stuff. And then we got a guy called Hector, and he got shot.
And put yourself on mute because I can't hear what you're telling me about.
So after this, right, he flakes out of school. He stops trying. He had. So this is where it's all or nothing. He could have had it all, but now he's probably going to have nothing, right? So he flunks out of school. He does some digging, finds out who Hector is, right? So then he gets involved with like a big like drug cartel. Starts selling drugs on the streets to raise cash.
Boyd, who's going to play Hector? Is that of interest?
Hector could be. So Will Steiner. Steiner can be Hector.
Guy.
Steiner maybe on the drive-by.
Not Perez. Perez isn't going to play Hector.
No. So Frank would have been like the Ocon, the little ratty mate.
Cast Perez as Hector.
Right, Perez is Hector then. So then obviously he wants to raise money so he can hire a full team of hitmen to seek revenge. But obviously, I'm not telling you what else happens because that's just the bit of the story. Because you'd have to watch the film and find out what happens at the end. Because all I've put here is he gets in some serious shit. So would that not make you want to rent that off the shelves or not? Come on.
What's it called?
All or Nothing. Starring Pierre Gasly. Because Gasly he'd be walking around with like a beanie hat on, like white like hoodie.
Straight to tape, straight to videotape.
VHS, yeah. No, it doesn't like
cinema,
cinema, this one. This is straight to VHS. Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, the mix of...
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
You completely misunderstood what the debate was.
But also won at the same time.
But it was probably
amazing. That was my favourite thing I've ever heard.
I've just written a whole fucking script play down. Brad was like,
when
you're the
you're
director and that. That's why I was a bit
laughing.
like, right, I got a bit confused.
What I thought would be a good idea, because I know there's going to be a lot of people listening to this podcast weekly, is that I'm going to announce next week's debate now, so people can during the week they can be at work thinking about just like we are when we think what would we do. Yeah. So next week we're going to do Dragon's Den, where you're coming to pitch a business idea. It has to be an F1 business idea. So you've quit your job, you're going to start a business in F1. It's going to make you an income. Okay. And you need to come next week with your. It
could be anything to do with F1.
Anything
like,
F1.
So if you're like you've invented like a special thing for
by
cars.
By the way, your invention that you come up with in Ibiza, more protection. Which would be, you get nervous now, right? Because you think I'm going to announce your business idea and someone's going to steal it.
You stole my fucking game idea.
No, it already exists.
What's
apparently. I told someone about it the other day, and they said at the Dubai hotel, the Atlantis hotel.
That Mank guy that we met at the in Ibiza, he's taken it and taken it straight to Dubai.
No, he hasn't. He's done nothing, that geezer. But yes, apparently it already exists.
What's it called? It's not called More Protection.
It's not called More Protection.
Just for the listeners' benefit, Boyd's idea was to create a sunscreen, basically laser, that laser scans your kids.
Sunscreen laser scanner, yeah.
You walk in a big tube, it laser scans you to work out the exact amount of sunscreen you need, and then it sprays it on you head to toe. And now, obviously, it would blind kids. There's a whole reason, but the name, Boyd's surname is Moore, and he was going to call it More Protection, which was a great name, in fact.
Yeah, and it was a much better idea than that. You just really scraped the surface.
No, that was the idea.
Wow.
And you went, when we went, how does it work? You went, lasers.
I might try and engineer more or something into this F1
I wouldn't expect anything else.
Exactly.
All right, so it's business idea next week. We all vote, so you get to vote for the two others. Okay. And then it should work out that we work out who's a winner.
Okay.
But I think we both agree that Boyd won this week's debate.
I think we can agree that was.
It was
the
a bit all over the place, wasn't it? I mean, the fact that you boys are cracking up,
it was incredible.
Yeah, it's fine.
Absolutely.
I just love the idea of a combination of Goodwill Hunting
and John Wick.
Wick.
What's wrong with that?
I was about to say Goodwill Hunting and Joe Wick.
I should have put Good Wick Hunting. That's what I should have called it. Do you know, I'd done that about 20 minutes before we got on here. I just had my little notes up. Yeah.
That's where the all comes from.
This kid could have had it all, but he threw it all away. No, so I thought
Pierre Gasly is
starring Pierre Gasly as Tyler and Hector as Toto.
What I love about that though is like when you were in school, if we went all the way back to when me and you were in school and we were in drama, right, and we come up with a film, it would have been exactly what you just 100%. Said, right? With all those bits, and the main character would always be called Tyler or 100%. Spike.
You'd watched Fight Club.
It'd be any name that isn't someone in the school. And as an English school, we didn't have any Tylers or Spikes. No. It would have been someone we had seen on Saved by the Bell as a bad.
So I even brought the little brother into it, Dylan, and then the mum Beth as well.
Dylan.
Yeah. So Beth could have been Jerry Horner as well, straight out. You know what I mean? She could have been in there. But yeah, all good in the hood, boys. So
wow,
that was amazing. Well, I think that brings us perfectly to the hour. So I just want to say thank you to our sponsors, Rich Energy Drinks. We're looking forward to receiving our
cease and desist.
Cease and desist, and our 24 box.
I'll order it after this. I'm going to order my 24 cans.
I'm not drinking.
I'll drink it. I'll drink.
Also, boys, I felt like we had a lot more. Even though I was hanging a bit today, like there's a lot more energy on the show today. I felt it was a good vibe. You know,
it was a great episode. And I'm sure everyone who's listening right now will agree that this was a great episode.
There's good energy in the gym. There's good energy in the gym. Yeah.
But, and if you're still listening, if you got this far, this is where we say, please make sure you go and rate this podcast 5 stars on Spotify. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. Like, share, subscribe, YouTube, and
tell your friends
on Instagram.
Yeah,
tell your friends.
And remember, if it's anything less than a 5-star, then you get bad luck forever. That's
Start
the
smashing
that's
a
the
mirror.
rumor
Yeah.
that's going around.
We'll find out who you are and we'll
Yeah.
say your name on the podcast as one of our special guests.
And
Yeah, we'll say you wrote in, said something.
we'll cancel you.
spread
and
rumors.
next week, boys, Belgium, Spa, we are back.
We've actually got some
We're
Formula
live.
1 next week.
We're live,
Yeah.
yeah. We're back. So tune
Yeah,
in next
we'll-
week for some serious Formula Fun 3 Prix. Cheers.
Everybody has a target on their backs next year.